Alright, gang, it goes without saying that horror can be one of the most impactful genres within the world of film, whether it be parody or not. As a kid, I was introduced to the genre, definitely way too fucking young. My first introduction to the genre was the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, and from there on, more films were thrown my way, like Chucky, the Saw films, Insidious, Paranormal Activity, Conjuring, the list goes on. And while I hold a lot of these films close to my heart for their roles in my juvenile horror exposure, especially the first two Conjuring movies, there are two films that seem to really cement my love for the genre. Yeah, it's a real big mystery as to what those films could have possibly been. So yeah, the first two Jeepers Creepers films were the ones responsible for bitch-smacking Little Me into a genre that was all about thrill-seeking without the literal, physical repercussions of doing stupid shit. You know, like parkouring on skyscrapers, bug chasing, or jumping over a speeding car for the fun. Oh, sweet Jesus Christ! Some part of Little Me just knew that besides the dread that came along with watching these movies, I'd be opening a door to some of the most batshit crazy stuff I've ever seen in film history. Oh yeah, this was gonna be the genre for me. Now, in case all 63 of you haven't seen the first two films, just the first two. Let me break them down for you. Trish and Derry Jenner, a brother and sister driving home from college through rural Florida, encounter a menacing rusty truck that aggressively tailgates them on a deserted road like they owe it some money or some shit. $20 is $20, I don't know what to say. So the movie just started, so they get away, but it picks up after that, trust me. After the truck speeds off, they later spot its driver dumping what looks to be like a body down a drainage pipe near an old church. Wow, the basement of a church has sinister shit going on in it? Who would have thought? Curiosity and horror logic gets the better of them, and Derry insists on investigating. He climbs down the pipe, because that's what's gonna happen, and discovers a horrifying underground lair lined with hundreds of sewn together corpses, all victims of the same fate. As the siblings flee and seek help, they realize the thing hunting them isn't exactly human. It's the Creeper. No, not that one. This one. It's an ancient demonic creature that awakens every 23 years to feed on human body parts, specifically choosing victims by the scent of their fear and using those parts to regenerate its own body. This thing is essentially the top to Pennywise's bottom, if you catch my drift. This guy will remain on top of the hunt, chasing you relentlessly like a vape-addicted teenager the second you show any ounce of well-seasoned fear. And it doesn't take a few mean insults to bring him to the bottom of the floor. So, this film spends the rest of its runtime showing you how much of a threat this fucker really is. From the warnings of his presence in form of song, to the capabilities this demon has when it comes to seemingly putting everything out of whack. To the very second you realize that, hey, someone you've taken a liking to in this film most likely isn't making it out alive. Shocker. Alright, so you understand the basic premise, yeah? Yes, yep, okay, good. We're on to the next one. Set a few days after the first film, the sequel expands the scale. A bus full of high school teenagers, basketball players and cheerleaders breaks down on a deserted country road during the Creeper's ongoing feeding cycle. Any fucking horror protagonist or side characters, any horror group, at first they think it's a simple mechanical issue until they notice strange throwing stars made of human bone and something from a little character you might have grown to like in the first one. Notice how I said it might have. So comments, I don't want to hear it, man. I just don't. And hey, they also so happen to notice something flying in the distance like a patrolling hawk. Who would have thought? One by one, this devious fucker begins terrorizing the stranded group, picking victims based on its twisted selection process. Meanwhile, Taggart? I'm pretty sure it's Taggart. Yeah, I never remember this guy's name, so bear with me for a second. He's a local farmer whose son was snatched and killed by the Creeper earlier in this movie. Spoilers, I know. Wow. Forgive me. Fuck, I don't know. This local farmer sets on a revenge mission with a homemade harpoon gun mounted on the back of his truck. The bus becomes a claustrophobic battleground between panic, distrust, survival instincts, and racism. For whatever reason, but I guess it's lore accurate or something. I know it's a horror movie and all, but we gotta have nice things occasionally, so the climax sees Taggart managing to team up with the surviving students, doing everything they can do to fight off the demon with a taste of its own medicine, to an extent. Now gang, I'd really go more into this one, but I want to keep this brief, and on the off chance you guys haven't checked these out and you want to check these out, I'm doing my best to avoid spoilers for now. Anyway, if this section is a lot more brief, it's really just because the second movie is a lot simpler, mostly due to the fact that our new batch of cattle is quite literally trapped like pigs in a slaughterhouse. So yeah, that's the gist of the first two movies. Now you might be asking yourself, but Lena, why do you proclaim to love these films when they're just basic monster meets slasher movies with the same beats and cliches as most horror films? To that, my little cute adorable fucking dumbasses, I say, yeah, that's the point. Not every film needs to be a Pulp Fiction or an Oppenheimer. Sometimes knowing what you're getting and appreciating a film for what it is and what it delivers as a simpler movie is all that you need to love it. And I mean, like, I love the setup of these films. The dread of being stuck in the middle of nowhere with nothing more than country resources always makes for a good slasher suspense. You don't have massive crowds of people to witness the terror that follows you throughout the day, especially when the terror in question has massive bat wings and the intelligence of something far more sinister and aware than any basic land predator. The creeper knows you're freaked out, and knows you'll do anything to fight him off, and that simply makes it all the more fun. He loves the chase because, while he isn't like any predator you're familiar with on Earth, he's still a predator with a stubborn prey drive. I think it literally just comes down to, like, bro's finna eat, and unlike the majority of the characters in these movies, he's gonna make sure his meat is actually seasoned. Going through dramatic lengths to make sure you're properly shaken up is literally his speciality. Afraid of trucks? Sold. Afraid of bats? Sold. Afraid of scarecrows? Hey, we got him. Afraid of rednecks? Me too. Afraid of cops? Good slasher, good slasher. There's a personality to him that keeps his presence alive just as well as his actions do. The sadism towards each victim finds itself accompanied by a bit of humor. Yeah, it's not fun for you, but he's having the time of his life. You know, making the hunt as entertaining as it can be for him. The guy has his own weapons crafted with enough creativity and personality to make them his own. There's an eye for the art that goes into what he makes as well as what he does. Okay, so like take the bodies within the old church lair, for example. Despite everything, he keeps them artistically sewn together as if there's some form of appreciation for the lives he's taken and what they gave to him. Any other slasher villain, he could easily just kill and leave their bodies, but instead he uses the truck to gather them, still taking what he needs but also collecting them like pieces of fabric for a greater whole. And I mean that in like some sort of artistic form. I kind of just come off of this or whatever saying, yeah, I appreciate that there's a personality to him rather than being another Jason. You see, originally they were going to have him speak, and although they didn't really go through with it, his mannerisms fill in that missing gap better than any utterance ever could. So big shout out to Jonathan Breck for his portrayal as the Creeper. You did good, man, you did good. I'd also like to add that the first movie was the first horror movie to introduce me to the now Scream King, Justin Long. There was another horror movie that sweetened the deal for my familiarity with him down the line, but I'm sure that's a video for another day. Okay, yeah, Derry isn't flawless. He's the main reason he and his sister Trisha, played by the underrated Gina Phillips, get into the situation they find themselves in, as you know.
You paying attention?
Now this is a horror movie, so stupid decisions like this aren't exactly something I'm hung up on. You get what you get kind of thing. But man, one phone call would have solved the problem a lot better than going headfirst into a fucking sewage pipe. But hey, to each their own, I don't fucking know. I don't really judge too harshly on this channel. Bottom line is, this movie and the second one paved my way into the horror genre flawlessly. It all really started from my rewatches and like, you know, just genuine fear of these two movies as a kid. These films just like really started it all for me. Paying attention to the background of horror films, like My Very Life Depends on It, trying to pick up when certain characters will fall into those inevitable horror cliches and why, using every line of dialogue and action to determine what will come next, like a middle-aged detective that only has one thing really going for her. Yes, while I was scared of these films and the more to come, I grew more and more accustomed to the art of filmmaking and how well film crews can communicate what they want you to feel, what they want you to pick up on, and what they want you to put together yourself. For better or for worse. Fucking here, we have a jock, a cheerleader, a nerd, and a virgin girl. Really try to figure out which one dies first. There will always be unavoidable cliches, but like, I don't know, it adds to the charm of the genre for me. To an extent. And when you do come across a horror film that deviates from those patterns just well enough to make it interesting, then you have something even more gripping while still maintaining that familiarity the genre has. Like shit, it's not every day your slasher villain can just straight up fly and be a complete mythical monster. And it was thanks to that fucker that I was scared of cornfields for a good few years of my life. And you know, well, not anymore. It's the unseen behind things like that I'm extremely cautious about. Because it takes one day, one moment of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Horror is great, not too scary, but suspenseful enough to keep you hooked. What often gets lost in conversation about Jeepers Creepers, both 1 and 2, is just how much the cast and crew brought these stories to life through sheer talent and craft. The performances of Justin Long and Gina Phillips are grounded and believable, turning simple fear into something painfully human. Like, you watch them and you're like, oh my god, yeah, they fuck up a lot, but it makes sense as to why. Fear is just a part of being human and something we can often forget. Like, you're watching them, you're like, oh yeah, I would have done that, or I would have done this. And yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, they're the ones being hunted. They're the ones being pushed by fear to do something stupid. Look at the thing that's doing it to them. The creature's design and makeup work are a masterclass in practical horror. The creature feels physical, textured, and disturbingly real at times. Every shot, every sound cue, every flicker of light on that endless stretch of highway shows how much care and artistry went into creating this atmosphere. It's a reminder that behind every chilling image, there's a team of people giving it their all. And again, with the second film, that level of craftsmanship carried into it, where a larger cast and more complex stunt work demanded even more from everyone involved. The ensemble of young actors made the tension inside that stranded school bus feel real. Their fear, frustration, and disbelief all hit different notes of panic. But again, as I mentioned, the fear really sells it, bringing out the worst of the weakest links and highlighting their true nature when they find themselves exactly where Mother Nature intended for them to be. The effects team once again went all in, giving the creeper more movement, more menace, and more moments to shine through incredible makeup and physical performance. Between the practical wings, the creature's prosthetics, and the clever mix of daylight horror shots, it's clear that the crew's creativity never took a back seat with these films. So it just feels fair to acknowledge the well-paid-off passion each individual brought both on and off set. Now, I'm going to exempt one individual from that same respect, and if you know why, then you know I don't need to say another word about him. Fuck him. I hate that I love these films. I've really tried to shake my enjoyment towards them, but nostalgia and appreciation for the genre is just one hell of a drug. Plus, I love creatures that feed off fear, and I'm gonna eat that shit up every fucking time. From the Bat from Hell to the Dancing Clown. I mean, to Death's fucking persona, it's a peak trope. I love it. I know he sold the rights. I know, like, majority of the stuff that, like, you know, merchandise, like, costumes and shit, he doesn't get anything out of it. But if you want to check these movies out, I recommend doing so in a way that guarantees absolutely no support to the man who directed them. I love these films. I just love them. I can't help it. I hate it. I hate that I love them, but, you know, I just do. Like and subscribe, or don't. Man, I don't fucking know. Just, you know, go away.